What's going on, Washington fans? Welcome to Bleacher Report. We just wrapped up the last game of the season. A season that we had high hopes for going into it. I certainly did. Before the season started, preseason, at training camp, it's just there was so much higher hopes for this team. With not only Sam Howell, but with Eric Bieniemy coming over, with Josh Harris being the new owner, we knew that there weren't but so many changes that could happen with the timing of the sale of the team and everything. This was kind of like a buffer of a season, but still at the same time, we had high hopes for, like I said, Sam and Eric Bieniemy and some of the pieces around this team, with the draft and everything. And after these 18 weeks of just straight up misery, we start 2-0 for the first time in a long time and make absolutely nothing out of it. But I can tell y'all right now, and I'm going to update it, and I'm going to go ahead and pull it up on the screen for y'all too, so we can celebrate at the same time. There is something glorious that happened today, and maybe not everyone was pulling for this to happen, but I was on this boat, this team. Something I've been pushing, honestly, probably since like the Bears game, because it's been that bad. Oh my gosh. How do I feel about signing Heineke in the offseason and prioritizing the offensive line? Come on, man. It's the last game of the season. You can't be bringing up a Heineke again. I had to give you some credit and put it on the stream just because you have been here all season long. But I'm excited, guys. And I'm going to show you why. Because with this loss today, 38-10 to the Cowboys, by the way, it started out like good. I was like, where the heck has this team been all season long? And then it went to the real Washington team that we have come to realize exists this season. And with that loss, Washington officially has locked in that number 2 pick. You see it. It's ugly, but lost 8 straight games to finish 4-13 on the season. The Saints win today. If y'all been following the streams, you've been watching the videos, I told y'all what needed to happen. A lot of it happened. And the icing on the cake, I hate to say icing on the cake, but the icing on the cake, the last candle that needed to be blown out was Washington losing to the Cowboys. And by God, we did it. And it was in ugly fashion. I hate to say it, but that was more than likely Sam's last game as the starter, unless something happens, obviously. But like I said, Washington locks in that number 2 pick. Let me take off my overlay just so I can pull up y'all's chats and stuff like that. Follow me on social media, by the way, at Josh Taylor FB, X, Instagram, whatever, YouTube for my YouTube channel. Doing a lot of stuff for the Senior Bowl stuff coming up as well, going to the draft, all kinds of good stuff. But let's see. Augaby says it is finally over. It is. And like I said, I've been checked out for a long time. And I hate to say that. In this season, I have never been pulling for this team to lose as much as I did this season. I hate to say that because I love this team. I was talking to someone earlier. They're like, why are you still a Washington fan? Like, why did you not leave long ago? I'm like, I've been a fan of this team for so long. I can't, that's not how this works. I'm a Virginia boy, pretty much born and raised. I was there 90% of my lifetime for 30 years. That's my squad. That's who I'm rocking with. Good things are on the way, though. I promise you, it is finally over. And Jackson Mahomes, shout out to for the name, by the way. Today was a microcosm of the whole season, and it really was. Especially the Sam Howell interceptions. You saw some good things, but then you seen the ugly of Sam Howell. You saw some bad offensive line. By the way, Sam Cosmi is a blue chip prospect for this team. We're going to build the offensive line around Sam Cosmi, and I'm excited about that. Sam Cosmi is a beast. I was telling y'all, go check. I brought up the tweets or posts, whatever you want to call it, back in training camp, back in preseason. I said, book it. Sam Cosmi is going to be a really good starting guard in this league. I've seen enough, and he showed out this season. Another good thing that happened today was Terry McLaurin was the first Washington player to ever have, 4 consecutive 1,000-yard seasons. I didn't think it was going to happen after that Sam Howell heave that to that left sideline that got picked off by Deron Bland, I think it was. And I was like, it's not going to happen. But finally, late in the fourth quarter, Terry gets what he deserves. He deserves much better than what we've given him. Let's see. Pat says, who falls to us? And it's not even a fall, really, because we are locked in at number 2. It doesn't matter what the Bears do with that first pick. To somewhat. Like, we are at number 2. No one's taking that away from us. We're not trading back. We're going to have real adults in the building. In the next 48 hours, Ron Rivera is going to be fired. Everything I've seen and heard. It's not getting past Tuesday. Today was his birthday. Happy birthday, Ron. Appreciate that last loss on your way out. But it's not going to last till like Wednesday, Thursday. And I promise you, smart people know that Josh Harris, who's going to be leading this search, he had a big hand in getting Nurse to the 76ers. Like a lot of, he's gone through this many times, about 4 or 5 times with the 76ers and the New Jersey Devils. He's been through this process. So smart people know that Josh Harris has been kind of starting things. And from what I've heard, it sounds like Harbaugh is down to the Chargers and the Raiders. That's the 2 teams he's really eyeing. But it does sound like the Chargers is like I don't want to say 90%, maybe 80% chance. And then the Raiders is the rest of that. I don't think Harbaugh is going to come here. I think Josh Harris would like to get a Harbaugh, but I don't think Harbaugh wants to come here. He's going to be really picky about what he wants to get. So I think he's out. But I think Ben Johnson, if you've seen my videos where I've been talking about the GM hires and the coaching hires, if you haven't, like I said, we have the streams on here and then also my YouTube channel at JTFB or Josh Taylor FB. You can watch those. So I'll talk more about that. But honestly, like the people that, follow this sport pretty closely know that Josh Harris has his list already figured out. The process has started a while back. Like it's been known for the last 4 or 5 weeks that Ron Rivera is not coming back. It's not like this. Oh man, if they beat Dallas, there's a chance. No, he's been checked out for a long time. And it's sad. Wish him well, feel bad for the guy, but it is time. It is beyond time. This is the last little bit of luggage that Dan Snyder left us. G Gibson 6 says, with any luck, Drake May. So this is where I might talk about this because I have a stream tomorrow morning. It's either at 11:30 or 12:30. I can't remember. And I think what I'm going to talk about is just the number 2 overall pick because now it is official. Leading up to it, it's all been speculation, like what we need to happen for Washington to get that pick. But now we do have that pick. So I might do a deeper dive into that tomorrow on the stream, really talk about obviously Caleb Williams, Drake May, but then also what I think Washington can do. Maybe trade back up into the first and get a top offensive lineman. We certainly have the ammo to do that. That's something I'll talk about, all the possible scenarios. And then, of course, from now to April, we'll be doing player breakdowns, draft breakdowns. Like I said, I'll be at the Senior Bowl. I'll be at the draft. Might go to the Combine. Haven't decided yet. Maybe some pro days and stuff like that. The next 3-4 months are going to be the best content, honestly, in Washington history because this is the best offseason and most important offseason. If you've been a fan of this team in a long time, like I said, I'm 30. This is the most important offseason ever. Josh Harris has to nail this GM hire and head coaching hire. J John 31 says EB was a failure. To an extent, I want to say yes. And I watched the game today and I think to myself, where the heck has this play calling been all season? We actually ran the ball today. I know Brian Robinson fumbled it, but outside of that, like we actually ran it. Today, we actually had some like plays where I'm like, holy smokes, this is the innovative stuff. This is the creative things I heard about. This is the stuff I was telling fans to get ready for. And we didn't see it until the last game of the season. And we had a fighting chance up to halftime. And then after that, it just all fell apart, thankfully, for that number 2 overall pick. But I'm just like, what the heck? Eric Bieniemy, where has this been? And you knew he was going to just lay it all out there, be aggressive, just empty the playbook because he is getting mentioned for head coaching jobs. Do I think he'll get one? Honestly, I think there is a chance because this league really does like offensive-minded coaches. I'm not, for or against a defensive-minded coach. That's something I've clamored on the last few weeks too. And you can look at D'Amico Ryans last night going to the playoffs. And having a guy like Bobby Slowick work with CJ Stroud in that passing game, and just elevating the offense. But that defense has gotten much better with him building. I mean, they completely just revamped that team in one offseason. And they were without a lot of key offensive linemen for a long time. I mean, they've missed about 6 or 7 offensive linemen. Kenyon Green, their first rounder, was out for the entire year. Juice Scruggs, their second rounder, was out until like the very end of December. Jarrett Patterson was out. Tunsil's been hurt. Shaq Mason's like the only guy on that line that was actually healthy for the whole season. They've been rotating like second and third string guys on that line all season, and they still found success. Jackson S88, I agree with you. Terry got his 1,000 yards. That's all I'm worried about. I really wanted Jahan Dotson to get one more touchdown. Didn't happen. I would have won $500 on a season prop bet. He literally missed it by 1. It's whatever. I'm going to take the loss. I just didn't want to. Win this one, obviously, for the draft pick. Let's see what else we got here. Sam Howell cannot be evaluated with the line he had. I don't disagree with you, J. John 31, but at the same time, it's all about situation. If we were picking at pick 2019, something like that, you still have an argument. If a guy like Michael Penix is there, if a guy like Bo Nix is there, can they come in and be better than Sam Howell? I've said this the last 2 months to as many times as I could say it. In this league, if you can upgrade at the quarterback position, you have to do it. And I'm not saying like, oh, the Chargers are struggling, they need to make a change at quarterback. No, because Justin Herbert, you're not going to just find somebody better than Justin Herbert. You need to find your Justin Herbert. You need to find your Patrick Mahomes. And obviously Patrick Mahomes is one of the best ever. I'm not saying that someone's going to turn out to be like them, but you have to take that chance. With Sam Howell, there's a ceiling. You know, there's a reason, and I was higher on Sam Howell than I promised you, any single one of y'all. I was with him at the Senior Bowl, got to know him. I broke him down more than any player I have ever watched, and I was clamoring for Sam Howell. I was like, this is going to be the guy we're going to draft him. I promised y'all we are drafting Sam Howell. Did I think it was going to be in the 5th? Heck no. I thought it was going to be like the 2nd or 3rd, but that draft class was so bad. Brock Purdy is the last pick of the draft. He's like the only good quarterback in that class. Pickett sucks. Ritter sucks. Blake Willis sucks. And Sam Howell fell to the 5th in that draft class for a reason. He was really bad at pressure. He was, since 2014, I think he's the 3rd worst quarterback at pressure to sack. He's 3rd to last since 2014 in sacks taken like with pressure. Like he cannot get out of it, but he's also created the most pressure himself. I forgot like the exact technical term of it that PFF and those sites use, but he generates the most pressure and he's really bad about it. And then once he gets off this spot, he can't really, he gets sacked a lot. And we saw that this season. And there was times where he got better at it, and there was times where it was just historically bad. And that was the one thing about him. We knew he had a strong arm. His deep ball accuracy was really bad for this year for some reason. And I know people are going to say because of the offensive line. But then, like, once again, Jacoby Brissett comes in and he's throwing bombs and gave Terry, like, the deepest pass of the year and, like, his third pass with them. So there's just a lot with Sam Howell. Like, obviously, the GM, the front office is going to look at Sam Howell. They're going to evaluate him. They're going to be responsible. But you just have to be real with yourself. You have the number 2 pick in a class where it's almost unanimous that the first 2 picks are going to be Caleb Williams and Drake May. And honestly, I'm fine with both of those. Like I said, I'm going to talk about them more than likely tomorrow, kind of talk about the differences, make the case for both of them, talk about Chicago, what's going to happen with that number 1 pick, what they decide or what they could do. And it's going to be a crazy offseason. That's all I'm going to say. It's going to be crazy. But be patient. Be patient. I promise you. Back to J. John 31 said offensive coordinator for the Texans is a hot prospect. Yes, Bobby Slowick. I know y'all have seen the graphic. He was here in 2013 when we still only won like 3 games. I don't know why they keep showing that graphic of like all these coaches were in Washington in 2013. Like, guys, that was 10 years ago. We still only won like 3 or 4 games that season. And like every season after that. We didn't just, it's not like we went to the Super Bowl with them and then we let them all go. Like, I don't get that graphic. Like, it pisses me off. So maybe we make everything right. We do a full circle, the first actual season with Dan Snyder gone, and we get Bobby Slowick back here, and he's the head coach. We get a rookie quarterback. He develops them. He finds his offensive coordinator. He finds his defensive coordinator, and we make the playoffs just like the Texans did. That'd be the life full circle. Has Ron turned his key card yet? Probably not. Hot Rod 90. I think they're celebrating in the locker room right now, blowing out some candles for his birthday. More than likely. But tomorrow, if I had to guess, it's either going to be early tomorrow or it's going to be Tuesday. Like I said, I from what I've seen and heard, just reading and everything, I don't. It's not going to get to like Wednesday. I promise you that. It's going to happen soon. I've already got the graphic ready to go. If y'all know me, I got it ready to go. What's the next rebrand? Washington Warriors, Warthogs. I don't think a rebrand is going to happen within the next 3 or 4 years. Honestly, I think the perfect time to do a rebrand would be when the new stadium comes out. And I'm fine with that. If they want to incorporate it in the new stadium, do it all then. The timing's right, fine. Take your time with it. Honestly, I don't care what the name is. At first, obviously, like I said, I've been a fan of this team for a long time. Losing that R word hurt a lot. And it took a while. I was like, what the heck? This sucks. All that history just feels like it's gone. But at the same time, I'm at that point now. I'm like, whatever. We were so bad this year. I don't care what our name was. I'm completely numb to it. But in my honest opinion, the best time for a rebrand would be when they do the new stadium, which is probably going to be 27 or 28. From what I've seen and read, it looked like 27 was more than likely. Let's see. EB didn't do himself a favor, but damn, wasn't like he had a better QB. And honestly, yeah, and that's the thing was, in training camp and the whole season, his project was get this offense going, but then also develop Sam Howell. And you hear Ron Rivera beating the drum every single press conference. We're trying to develop him. We're trying to develop Sam Howell. We're waiting on Sam Howell, or it's all up to him, and blah 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 blah, and whatever. It was such an excuse, but then at the same time, he was like, let's swing on Russell Wilson. Oh, we missed. We're gonna have to settle with Ryan Fitzpatrick. Or we gotta go sign Carson Wentz and his 2 bad ankles that don't exist. For a guy that complains so much, and he actually said the reason that the Eagles and the Cowboys and Giants in our division are winning because they have their quarterback that they're building around, they're winning with. We don't have that. Well, by God, GM Ron, who was responsible for doing that? You and Mayhew. And now both of y'all are going to be gone. Let's see. QB at number 2. Absolutely going to happen. Enigma 1175. If they QB at 2, I want Drake May. And like I said, guys, I am super high on both of them. I like Caleb Williams a lot. I like Drake May a lot. But if you want to talk about standing in the pocket, standing tall, and delivering a pretty ball, Drake May is your guy. I saw someone in here say, comparing him to Herbert. Honestly, I'm not mad at that comp at all. He's 6'4". Like I said, he stands up tall. He's mobile. He's a lot more mobile than people want to give him, respect for. He can make these off-script plays when he's moved off of his spot. He can throw the ball down there. That's something Jay Daniels is really bad at. He's actually the worst in FBS at throwing the ball off of his spot. I think he only had a 20%. He was only willing to throw it 20% of the time when he moved off of the spot. And yeah, he has really good legs, but the stats were just really bad. But Drake May was one of the best at that, and so is Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams, a lot of the offense at USC is we're going to hike the ball. We're going to move the play to one side of the field. We're going to move the pocket, and we're going to wait for these openings and these mesh concepts to open up, and they're going to deliver a dime. But your offensive line is going to suck, by the way, and your defense is going to be 120th out of 130 FBS teams. So good luck, Caleb Williams. Good luck to you, son. So yeah, Travis Pittman went back to what I just said. Hire Bobby Slowick, so we get that 2013 coach graphic becomes less annoying. Absolutely, like I said, full circle. You want to talk about a long-term booking? That's it. 10 years in the making. That's some WWE Triple H style. Go ahead and get Bobby Slowick over here. And I'm cool. I want a young guy. And I'm really glad that Keim actually came out and said before the game today, because a lot of people, Diana Rossini and a lot of people in ESPN and NFL, like Josh Harris and the Commanders, are super interested in Bill Belichick, by the way. And the absolute worst case scenario would be that they don't fire Bill Belichick and they trade Bill Belichick. Trade him. And they said it would take a first-round pick. If we trade a first-round pick next year for Bill Belichick, I will be beyond frustrated. I do not want to retread. The only older guys I'd be interested in would be a Harbaugh from Michigan or Mike Tomlin if he would have been available, but he's not because he's never had a losing season ever. why would you even get rid of that guy? That was ridiculous. So give me Ben Johnson, give me Slowick, give me Frank Smith from the Dolphins. Who else is out there? Mike McDonald from the Ravens. Give me him. Honestly, Mike McDonald might be my number one guy. I don't care if he's the defensive coordinator. That guy knows how to coach. That is what I want. I don't care if they're offensive or defensive, honestly. Give me someone that gets the best out of their players. Because this defense is bad, guys. I know y'all stole it. That first-round pick, Forbes, he did not look good this season, and he went out on a really low note. Quan Martin looked really good today. So G Gray 710. This is something I'm going to talk about tomorrow. He says, maybe in the minority, but I don't want Drake May. Hasn't played enough ball. I'm going to talk about that tomorrow on the stream. Don't worry. It is a good point. And when you are evaluating somebody, experience is really big for me when it comes to quarterback, especially. That's one thing I really liked with Herbert. But at the same point, you don't want a guy to be like 24, like Michael Penix, who has, torn the same ACL twice. So there's some give and take to that. Asburn Syndrome says, I wonder how Sam would feel if he drafted his old teammate. And honestly, I don't think there'd be a problem with that. I know it's something people are going to talk about. Is, oh my God, Drake May replace him at North Carolina, and now we're going to draft him to replace him here. That's not good business. It doesn't matter. If Drake May is the guy, then he's the guy. And they're super close. So it honestly makes it easier. I think it's the opposite. I would much rather have two guys that are best friends that, talk all the time, that have that North Carolina connection, that can help each other out. This isn't a thing saying oh, Sam Howell's getting sent to the black hole now after this season. No, Sam Howell's going to be on this team next year. We're not trading him because you're not going to get anything for him. Unless some team gets super desperate in the playoffs next season or something. I don't know, way down the road, just way out there. That's not going to happen. If we do draft Drake May, Sam Howell's probably going to be his backup. And Brissett's not going to be here because he's a free agent. And he's going to go somewhere, and he might even start. The most Atlanta thing, if they keep Arthur Smith and get Jacoby Brissett and make him the starting quarterback. That's probably what happened. Because they're delusional. But no, and I don't think it has any ill will or anything like that. And Jalen _Harrison made a good point. Don't trade up. Stop with these dumbass trades. Who was it? Jeremy Fowler said that the Bears, if they trade out the number one spot, which could be very likely if they keep Caleb Williams, like I said, I'll talk about this tomorrow. The trade for number one, even if it's a spot or two, which is number 2, number 3, number 4, they said the package would be more than what last year was, which was DJ Moore, 2 firsts, 2 seconds, and I think a third as well. There is no way I'm trading John Allen, 2 firsts, and 2 seconds to get up from 2 to 1. There's no way I'm doing that. It's the difference between Caleb and Drake May is not enough for me to do that kind of trade. I'm not even giving up a second this year to do that. If anything, you know what? I'm going to save it for tomorrow. I have a lot to say tomorrow. I don't want to give too much away. Caleb Williams or Jaden Daniels should be the pick. Jaden Daniels is absolutely not a top 5 pick. There's a lot of things that people don't see with Jaden Daniels. That's just not going to translate. Well, I think he has a chance to be a good quarterback in the NFL, but I'm not taking him at 2. Absolutely not. I think he goes top 10 for sure. I'm interested to see if he actually goes to the Senior Bowl. I doubt he will. I like his size. People say his frame's too small, whatever. I disagree with it. He's 6'4" too. And he's got really dangerous feet. But like I said, the thing with him is just throwing off script, when he gets moved off of his spot, he's really bad. And honestly, Michael Penix wasn't the best either, but he was really good against Texas doing it. He looked amazing. So who knows what's going to happen with Michael Penix. But apparently he's going to the Senior Bowl too, so I can't wait for that. Let's see. Standing in what pocket? Not sure what you were talking about. And we got rid of Chase Young. We're not one player away. So Michael Holmes, this is a good point. We're not one player away. We are not one draft away. We are 3 years from being competitive. I disagree. And maybe this is just the exciting side of me because of all the changes we are going to have coming up, Michael. But like I said, the Texans did it. It's possible. Does it happen all the time? No. But when you're in a position to get that new GM, get the new head coach, get a new offensive coordinator, and get a new defensive coordinator, you see that change of culture that we've been saying is here, because it hasn't been here. The change of what culture? Like, we still are a losing franchise. I thought that was all BS. Like, I know the whole Dan Snyder culture side of it, the ugly side of things has been gone. Great. But the losing side of Washington is still stuck in that locker room because of Ron Rivera. And I'm telling y'all, we have the most cap space. It's going to be, we're either 1 or 2. I think the Titans are right there with us too. It's really close. I think we got number 1. It's like 80 to 85 million, which a lot of it's honestly going to go to the defense because it needs a whole revamp. A lot of really good defensive players in free agency. Players are going to want to come here. I'm telling you guys, it's going to be a completely different thing. We're not going to be signing some William Jackson the thirds, some Nick Gates, some Wileys, Cody Bartons. We're not going to be signing those kind of players this year. We have real talent evaluators coming in here, real business decisions to make, and real businessmen who are going to make those decisions. So I think we can make a big dent in year 1. Maybe it does take 2 or 3 years, but I'm fine with that. I'm perfectly fine with that. If we get the right quarterback and develop him and build around him the right way, then that's fine. If you tell me, Josh, it takes 2 or 3 years to get to the playoffs, but you are a serious playoff contender, I'm saying, okay, new regime, whatever you want to do, I trust you, because for the last 30 years, all I have known is delusion and chaos and a losing mentality around this franchise. I trust whatever you tell me you're going to do. Even if it was saying like, hey, we're going to keep Sam Howell, I'm like, whatever. Okay. What am I going to do about it? Nothing. I'm going to just trust it. We have no D-line, no secondary, no offensive line, and no QB. So we're going to get a QB. We got Sam Cosmi. Secondary is really bad. We're going to re-sign Kendall Fuller probably, unless we can get a big name guy like Snead, which I honestly doubt would happen because he's not going to leave the Chiefs. There's some really good linebackers in this free agent class. I like them a lot. There's a couple offensive linemen I like. And like I said, I'm going to talk about some scenarios tomorrow. I think Washington could even trade back up into the first, whether it's the middle of the first, end of the first, and get one of those big-time linemen to pair with Caleb or Drake May. I think they can surprise a lot of people with their moves. Let's see. Create 28 says Williams or May really depends on the new staff and offensive style. 100% agree. Whoever they want, like, get it. If it takes a few extra picks to trade up for Caleb, okay. But if it's like 2 first, a second, and a play or something like that, like, I'm backing off. I don't think the difference is that much. Yep. Enigma 1175. I'd be happy with Mike McDonald. Yes. The dude gave Clowney his best season ever. Geno Stone had his most interceptions in a season ever. He's getting the most out of Hamilton. Marlon Humphrey's been hurt like the whole season, and they still have a ridiculous secondary. Like that Ravens defense is insane. I love it. They're first in like every single category. Because of a trade picks for BB, it only shows me we're moving in the same direction. Absolutely. There's nothing in me that says I want Bill Belichick. None. Yep. Shout out to Terry McLaurin for getting 1,000 yards today. And the BF, this is it. Draft Williams May, spend $80 million on the O-line. Spend the entire free agency on the O-line. I don't think we will, but I'll start to really do a deep dive in free agency. I've got the schedule for the Bleacher Report streams coming for like January. There's a couple ones like players to watch that we could trade. Maybe John Allen's on there. That's a little sneak peek. There's a little rumbling with John Allen. I don't know if he does want to be here. A lot of people have said like he's going to demand a trade. Jay Glazer said it a while back at the trade deadline that he didn't want to be here, and he sounded checked out ever since then. And then you got guys in the draft community like Matt Miller saying like, yeah, he doesn't want to be here. It's, pretty well known that he's going to get traded in the offseason. So maybe we get another second-round pick. Like a middle second, late second for John Allen, and you use that to get an offensive lineman. Like I said, guys, there's a lot I'm going to talk about tomorrow, so definitely stay tuned for that. But I'm excited. We got the number 2 overall pick. The number 2 overall pick, and here comes the Chase Young. Oh, last time we had the number 2 overall pick, we got Chase Young, and what did that do for us? Nothing. Nothing. But that's okay, because look who we had here. Was he the pick at the time? Yeah, of course he was. That was the pick. Did it pan out? No. And whoever we get, whether it's Caleb or Drake or Olu Fashanu, whoever, Marvin Harrison Jr., that's the beauty of the draft. That is the beauty of scouting and watching these players, is you have no idea what these guys are going to do. No idea what these guys are going to do. Someone could get hurt in first play and their career could be over. Or some guy could just get here and be like, it's whatever. I got paid. I was a first-round draft pick. I don't care. That's what I love about the draft, because it is a bunch of unknown. But doing your homework, doing the scouting, just saying, like, look, this is what this player can do for you. You either decide you want it or you don't. You either say, look, we're going to get to know this guy. Here's your red flags. Here's your green flags. This is what he can do. This is what he struggles with. What do you want to do with this guy? I absolutely love the draft. It's better than the Super Bowl. It's my favorite time, and that's what I love. And I've been in the scouting academy before, and actually starting tomorrow, I'm finishing the scouting academy that's starting back up, where we have guys like Louis Riddick, and former GMs, former scouts, former coaches in the NFL. It's a training program that help us learn how to scout, evaluate players, evaluate positions. I've done wide receiver, I've done corner, I've done D-line. So I'm going to start looking at the offensive line. I'm going to start looking at tight end. And then quarterback is always the last one you do. So I'm excited about that. So there's going to be a lot of stuff coming up, guys. Appreciate y'all coming on the stream. Joining the chat. It's been a good time always talking to y'all. Like I said, follow me on social media at Josh Taylor FB. If you don't already, let me go ahead and put the overlay back up for you. But like I said, guys, I'm stoked. I think I lost it real quick. We're back. We're good. I think I hit the wrong button. But I appreciate y'all stopping by. Like I said, there's a ton of good stuff coming up, and this is the most important stream or off season, like, for us ever. Big time. GM, quarterback, head coach, offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator. We have every need, like every main need that a team has. Like Washington has it. So Josh Harris, he's got to put the hard hat on and go to work, start spending some money. I'm excited. I appreciate y'all stopping by. Like I said, I'll see y'all next time here on Bleacher Report. I'll be back tomorrow to talk about this number 2 overall pick. I'm going to talk about Caleb Williams. I'm going to talk about Drake May. I'm going to talk about the Chicago Bears and how they, unfortunately, can dictate our future, which kind of sucks. But at the same time, there's some good that comes in it too. So I appreciate y'all stopping by. I'll see y'all next time. Peace. Underdog Fantasy is the best place to participate in all of your fantasy contests, whether it's the NFL, MLB, PGA Golf, NBA, even college football. This user-friendly app, you can win up to 20 times your money in a single night. And my favorite part is that when you sign up in your first deposit, you use my promo code JTFB, they will double your first deposit up to $100. Now, how does it work? You pick lower or higher on stat projections that Underdog Fantasy gives you, whether it's passing yards, rebounds, points, you name it. And for each selection, say you want to select 3 people or 4 people, your odds go up based off of how many you select. My favorite feature, however, is sometimes I want to make 4 selections and I'm not feeling too confident in all of them. I love taking advantage of the Pick'em insurance to where if I miss one pick in my contest, I still get paid out on lower odds. So sign up today, download the app, and use my promo code JTFB to get up to $100 in your first deposit.